Hello friends, Chris here, CaribbeanPod.com. Today's recipe is a traditional corn soup. Corn soup is one of those tasty and filling street foods you get down in Trinidad and Tobago, and I guess throughout the Caribbean now. So here we go. Here's the ingredients for corn soup. These are the main ingredients here for the corn soup that we're going to be making. And here we've got the vegetable broth, a can of cream style corn, a can of coconut milk, some fresh parsley. On the bottom there we've got some celery stalk, a carrot, some garlic, a sweet potato, some chives, onion, some potatoes, and I'm using Yukon Gold potatoes. And then I've got some fresh thyme, pumpkin, the Caribbean style pumpkin. I'm not sure what the North American name is. And then we've got some corn on the cob, which we're going to be cutting up for the soup. Again, we're going to be adding some other things, but you can check out CaribbeanPod.com for those things, such as vegetable oil, salt, black pepper, and some hot peppers, of course. Can't be Caribbean without some nice Scotch bonnet or habanero peppers. In a deep pot here, what I've got is a couple tablespoons of vegetable oil. And by the way, this is a vegetarian recipe. There's no meat whatsoever. However, there are times when I would use some salted meat, like salted beef or salted pigtails, to give it that extra kick. Yes, so what I'm doing now is I've heated that oil on medium heat, and I'm adding all the herbs. Some thyme, some parsley, onions, the garlic, the hot peppers. Now, in my recipe here, what I'm doing, I cut up my hot pepper, which is a Scotch bonnet pepper, in pieces because I love the heat from it. However, if you can't handle the heat, or heat is not your thing from peppers, feel free to add the pepper whole, like an entire whole pepper, when it comes to a boil. What this does, it gives it the flavor of the pepper without the heat. So what you're going to do then at the end, when everything is done cooking, you can remove that pepper and not have to deal with all that heat. So what I did here, I'm going to soften up the onions and the carrots, and pretty much allow everything to bloom, all those herbs, the chives and everything else that I showed you in the picture originally. Now remember, the full recipe for making this can be found at CaribbeanPod.com. I'll include step-by-step instructions, as well as the full list of ingredients that goes into making this wonderful, thick sort of stew-like soup, using corn, of course. It's been cooking now for a couple minutes. I'm adding some fresh black pepper to this. Again, adding more layers of flavor. Give it a good stir. For this video here, you're going to see I'm going to cut out halfway through the cooking process here. What happened is the battery died on my camera and it stopped videotaping. So then we're going to go back to still shot images just to continue with the recipe. Now what I just did there, I added the celery stalk. I just want to soften that up a little bit to allow that to release some of its natural oils. The whole idea here, like I said before, we're building different layers of flavor, the base of the soup basically. Vegetarians, you guys will love this soup. There's no meat whatsoever in it, and it's very hearty. It's one of those things, if you live in the northern climates like I do, on a cold winter night, boy oh boy, this thing it's the spot like nothing else. The other thing I want to mention about this soup is that there I'm adding the hot peppers to it, but the other thing I want to mention about it is, as you can see, this is going to be a huge pot of soup, maybe a main course for maybe 5 or 6 people. What I want to mention is, here I am, I'm tossing in all the vegetables, the potato, the pumpkin, the sweet potato, the carrots, everything is going in there at this point. What I want to mention about this soup is that once it goes cold, so if you're going to be reheating this the day after, you'll find that it's very thick. The only way to really, you can't microwave this to heat it up the next day. Put the pot back onto a very gentle flame and add maybe about a cup of water or so to the mixture, and that's the way you're going to heat it up. Now I've just added 1 cup of dried split peas. And because I'm adding dry split peas, what we're going to do now is cover this with the vegetable stock as well as a few cups of water. We want to cover everything nice and deep and allow that to simmer. It'll take anywhere from 70 to 90 minutes for the dry split peas to cook, because we really want that to cook all the way through. What I've also seen some people do is use chana or chickpeas as well in this recipe. And again, it has to simmer. Bring it up to a boil and allow it to simmer for about anywhere from 70 to 90 minutes before we move on to adding the dumplings and whatever else to the pot. So basically this is it. I'm just going to top this up now with the cream corn as well as 1 can of coconut milk. I think the can equals to about 1.5 cups of coconut milk. This is what I'm adding here, and then I'm going to add the cream corn. Now, I've had some people say, I can't find cream corn. What can I use instead? Well, you know what? I just put the cream corn in there just to enhance the flavor, being a corn soup recipe. You can use any sort of frozen corn in a pack, or even corn in a can, and it should work just as fine as the cream corn. The cream corn will give it a sort of a sweet flavor, as well as the sweet potato that we added there. Top it up with about, I'm guessing, a teaspoon of salt. We will taste for salt at the end. But again, the full recipe can be found at CaribbeanPot.com. And all I'm doing here now is going to top this up with water. So I think I'm going to use maybe about 4 cups of water, along with the 2 cups of vegetable stock that we put in earlier. And you'll notice the thyme. I put in the entire sprigs of thyme into the pot. Now what this allows me to do is it allows it to cook, and at the end I just I take the twigs out of there, like the pieces of stick that remains back, and we don't have to deal with that. So it's just a matter of taking it out at the end. But there it is. It's all set and ready to go. We're going to allow that to simmer away, to come up to a boil, and then simmer for about 70 to 90 minutes, anywhere around there. We want all the pumpkin and potato and everything to really melt away and thicken up this soup. While this is simmering away, what we're going to do is we're going to get the corn on the cob. We're going to cut it up into 1-inch pieces, wash it off, make sure there's none of that the sort of hair that's on the corn, and get that ready. After it's been cooking for the 70 to 90 minutes or so, we're going to add the corn pieces into the mixture. We're going to remember all through this low heat, as well as keep stirring it. We're going to make some flour dumplings, and basically all it is flour, a little bit of sugar, some salt, and if you like, some baking powder. And you pretty much make a dough ball out of it. You allow that to soak for about 5-10 minutes or so. And you want a nice smooth dough. And then what you're going to do, you're going to pinch little pieces off this dough ball and pretty much roll it using both hands. Roll it as if you would be rolling, I don't know, into the shape of a small cigar or something. And this is what I'm trying to show you here. This is I just pinched a little bit of that dough and I rolled it in my hands to form the dumplings. Now once you put the corn in there, the pieces of corn as well as the dumplings, you want to bring it back up to a boil and let that cook for another 15-20 minutes. It's going to be a very thick and heavy soup, but this is how it's done traditionally. I know you guys will enjoy it. Give it a try. Corn soup, I tell you, it's one of those vegetarian delights down the islands. You can't get away from drinking a wonderful cup of corn soup after a good party. Cheers, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the recipe, and do give it a try.